I have a question, but it's not just a question because I'm going to talk for a while, I think. But why is it, if the world is what you believe it is, then why give yourself so many limitations? Why is it there's none of this, there's none of that? That's not true. This isn't true. Like, why? I don't understand this. Like, everything is limitations. I mean, I'm still mind blown yesterday in the conversation with my mom and my sister, the Christians in the family, that how much limitations they put on the soul. It's like, how do you, and where do you come up with these ideas? Like, a soul leaves the body and it goes directly into an elevator and goes up or down. It gets no control over it. It's up or down. This was the test, up or down. It's like, what the hell? Like, a soul is, I don't even know. I don't understand this way of thinking of most of the people. Like, I don't understand when I get in conversations how they look at things. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it's so crazy because, for my whole life, I thought something was wrong with me because all these people would, they had a different way of looking at things than I did. And I found it so confusing, like, because I knew some stuff, but nobody would listen. And then, I mean, just so much stuff is making so much sense to me now of, how it was. I was in two worlds, and this other world is real. Like, and, there's one thing too, is, like, if you listen to Dolores Cannon, there's this whole thing about, they put out a call, like, the universe, like, put out this call to call souls from all over every reality to come in and help this shift. And they had already had in this reality, they had already had some significant things happen that was to shift their way of thinking. But you can see, like, right now, how people are like, oh yeah, I stopped watching the news, and now they're glued back to the news. It's like, you knew the news was lying to you, but now you glued yourself back into the story, the drama. So everything is like, there's no wonder things have to get so bad because people just go right back to the abuser. I'm like, what the hell? So, and another thing too is we have, we have different people who are like on the ground at certain areas showing things. But this morning I saw somebody and they weren't awake. Like, they didn't have the same awareness. They don't understand what this war really is, good and evil, and that they are, the one person is hitting the bad people where it hurts, and they respond by killing us and then blaming it on them, because that's what they do. They kill us and then they blame it on a flu. blame it on whatever, whatever they come up with. It's their scapegoat. I mean, they've shown what they do if you're paying attention. So that's why I say, if you're awake, you know what this battle is about. It's about the freedom of humanity. It's about good and evil. And, you need to know which side is the good and which one's the evil. And there's so much twisting and manipulating. But when you have these people who are seeing life from their reality, and their reality is, there's different realities happening because it's very real for these people. These other people can see through it and show, like, what I would consider more of the truth. And the other people are caught up in the drama that is being given to them or shown to them or, forced on them in this, reality. So, it's all this process of waking up to the truth. But it is just, it's so mind-blowing. But, when Dolores Cannon talked about when she was doing all this QHHT, that kept coming up about this call that went out into the universe. And all of these, this is where they come up with the star seeds and light workers and stuff. Because all of these souls that were in different places, living different existences, all came here to help with this shift. Because it's this huge shift out of one age to the other age. And, I know that I am here for that. Like, I know, like, I'm a wanderer. I'm like a warrior. This is like what I do in different realities. Like I go in and do stuff like this. I also go in and live other lives so I can learn and constantly. It's like no matter what your job is, you still have to go in and learn to keep current, right? So you still have to do incarnations no matter, if you don't, if you like a wanderer, like if you read in the book of one and the raw teachings, then a wanderer is just, a soul that goes to all different places and does this kind of stuff. And that's why I talk about, like, I know I'm on a mission. And I was thinking about that, with how a soul gets projected into this reality, birthed into this reality. And, when you come in, you can't bring your armor. It has to be created in this life. So I had to go through all of these traumatic events to build my armor, to help me to understand my teachings, and that is why at this point in my journey, now I have, I have my armor on. I can speak my truth. I can tell, I don't care how crazy it sounds to people. I know it's the truth. And it's people's own limitations that keep them from seeing the truth because they're so caught in the reality that they're so focused on. And, the thing with reality is it's so different than what people perceive it to be, because they perceive it to be the experience that they're having rather than the place you're coming to have the experience. Like it's different than how they think it is. Like if you come at it and you realize what it is, it makes your experience much different. It makes it a lot less traumatic, a lot less hard. But and that could keep you from learning as much. But it has to be this way. And another thing too is, like, in this reality where people think, oh, it's the cabal, and they've made this horrible and we're just like the little ants and they're just killing us and stuff like that. But they provided the stage. We all wrote the scripts. All the souls that came in here and played their different parts, they wrote the scripts. The cabal just gave you the stage. They just put up the scenery. You did the rest. It was your soul coming to learn through all these experiences. And, there's been a lot of experiences through this age. And they've all been a lot of darkness, a lot of treachery and murder and control and lust and gluttony. All of these things have been what people have been learning about. And, in the three-dimensional too, like one thing people don't seem to understand is like the we're sharing this too with the one-dimensional and two-dimensional. And the three-dimensional gives them a place to understand themselves in one-dimensional, two-dimensional. You know what I mean? Animals and rocks and things, trees and stuff who are just being, and animals who are just perceiving and being a part of nature. Like there's different levels. In the third dimension, you are more focused on yourself and your place. That's how it gets so manipulated, I think, with the trying to fit in. It takes away your power when you're trying to fit in and please others. And so, this place has such purpose and there's so much connection, but we keep ourselves divided because we focused on the avatar and the experience. And this, that's all fine and dandy. It goes through ages to go through those experiences. But this is the time where consciousness has to realize what's going on. They have to start paying attention. They have to figure it out so that they can grow. And the growing is all about your consciousness. It's like, everybody is at different levels. So, some people in an awakening will all of a sudden realize, like, oh, I'm psychic. I know things before people say. I've got telepathy. I know what people are saying before they say it. I've got, I've seen people with the kinetic stuff, moving stuff without touching it. Like there's so many different powerful gifts that consciousness has, but it's all to your own abilities. It's all to your own level. And that's why this is such a time of expansion. But, the whole limitations of not understanding about a soul, and so much limitations put on a soul, like an energy that is able to get born into a reality, to have an experience and still be observing itself and be involved in the experience itself. I mean, like, you have to wrap your head around, like, you want to worship somebody, you need to worship yourself. Like, you are the God that you think of has control of you. It's you are your own God. Now I move that pillow, now I feel like I'm super low. But it is like, I see stuff on this, like this, the soul level. I don't see stuff in this, this drama. It's like, I'm having a hard time talking to people anymore about, because it's like you have to be on a script to be able to even participate. The woke script. You have to talk about, climate change like it's real. You have to talk about all of this stuff like it's real to be in that reality. And it's like, I can't do that. And besides, I can't even see what you're talking about. Like, I see past that. I can't see that anymore. I don't feel that, So there really is. It's all about your perception. It's all about where you focus your energy. And if you are focused on that, yeah, it's going to be traumatic. You're going to be feeling pain if you're focused on everybody's pain. Oh, they got this going on over there. They got this going on over there. These poor people, and send them money. Then, to me, it's just a huge distraction. You're focusing on everybody else's pain, so you don't have to focus on your own. And because what they're all going through, you're not there. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what each person is going through. And just like with the bushfires, like, all those animals were killed, all those people lost all their stuff. None of that money, whatever, it was a huge, huge amount of money. Just like all the money that was supposed to go to the truckers didn't go to them. The huge amount of money just went to the government. They just took it and said, well, that's how it has to be. We'll divvy it up. But no, they don't. Just like insurance is a scam, the government is all just a mafia-run planet, if you want to call it a planet, reality. And it's just a criminal enterprise. It's all about them to get rich. It's nothing about us to ever move forward, do better, get ahead. I mean, as a matter of fact, if you try and get ahead, you're usually just knocked back down. It's really hard to break through, their barriers that they put up to repress people so that they can keep them, depressed and buying drugs and, consumerism. That's all a part of it. If you have this, then you'll feel better. All their commercials are always telling you that. The movies. Oh my God. I was watching this movie yesterday and I'm just so blown away by this movie. It was it came on, and it was like, one word, like tragedy or something was the name of this movie. It was an old black and white movie. And it came on after another movie, which I found a really, really good one. Oh man, it was really good. It had Peter Lorre, Lon Chaney, Bob Hope. It was really good. Oh no, it was a funny little thing with Bing Cosby. Not Bill Cosby. Bing Crosby. Oh, these fucking names. But anyways, it was real good. But this other movie popped up. It was this old horror movie. And, the premise is this old guy. All these movies, I'm telling you, they got these fucking 50-year-old guys and these 20-year-old girls that are just like, oh, I love you. This one even got weirder. So he has this woman who loves him and she wants to be with him. But he wants to marry this other girl. And she looks like a black girl with a blonde wig, which, that has more to the story later. But she's super, super young, like really young. And I think she's 23 or something. And this other woman, she may be like 30, and this guy's like, I don't know, 55, I don't know. And then, so the one lady who says, I'm never going to let go of you, you can't be with her, She falls, and he didn't try and save her. He lets her die. So she comes and haunts him. So this whole movie is all about her haunting him and him just trying to marry this young girl. But the weird thing is with the young girl, she has a little sister. And this little sister is about as white and toe-headed as you could possibly be. It was like, okay, this doesn't match right there. This is weird. Like, you have a girl who they are, I don't know, did they get a black girl so they could have a girl who was super tanned with white hair? So, you know, she would look like a tan. I don't know what they were trying to do. But, you know, this family didn't look like it was all from the same family. So this little girl who is 8 or 9 years old, completely just white hair, and her clothes were, of course, too small. The whole fucking movie, she's just going around, following this guy around, telling her how much she loves him. She wants to marry him. You know, in India, oh, she said like 3 countries, India and Libya and Afghanistan, girls get married when to men when they're 8 or 9 years old. Why can't I marry you? So they have this like little kid who's just like all on this guy. He's constantly picking her up, kissing her. Oh my God, it was disturbing. There was so much that was disturbing about this. You know, and I was like, what are they trying to push here? Because now you know, like, what they're trying to push. But they started it all this way back. This was like 1938, this movie. It was just, oh my God, it was so disturbing. It was so disgusting. I mean, the whole freaking movie. You know, he's being haunted by the one lady. The other girl, she just shows up sometimes to scream and, you know, make her presence seen. But this young little girl is just chasing him around, telling him how much she wants to marry him. And, you know, he'll come in the room and that's who he wants to talk to. They're always going and having private conversations. And I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. It's not weird enough that, you know, all of these young girls are so helpless victims. You know, oh, I just need you to save me. Stella, I just need you to save me. All of them, they're all like hysterical. They're hysterical. They can't handle anything. They need this man to save them. And it's always this old man. And the old man, you know, he's even got little kids, you know, who want to marry him. It's like, oh my God, this is so fucking weird. But that, you know, this world was to teach you that that's fucking weird. So you would see stuff and you would be like, ooh, that's disturbing. And, you know, right now, I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm seeing is the people who are more still asleep are kind of attacking each other and calling each other out. Because everything has a degree, you know? Like, you could be a bully, but be feeling bullied by someone else. It's all in degrees. It's all in, you know, our perception. So, you know, you can have bullies being bullied right now. And they're all like fighting amongst themselves. But it's all to bring stuff to the surface. My tongue's still doing it. It's all to bring stuff to the surface so that they can see stuff, so they can work it out. You have to see how disgusting some of this shit is. And this process of seeing it is the process of your soul claiming itself, like pulling free from the system. And you know, that it's just, it's weird because like I understand so much about the souls. Like I'm just still blown away how my sister thinks she couldn't talk to my stepdad, you know, as a Christian who believes in souls. She couldn't talk to him unless she was talking into his ear. Like his body is his, like they're not the same thing. Your body and your soul aren't the same. And I don't know how, like, they see like a soul melts out of a body and just melts into another, into heaven or hell or something. Like, because, you know, a soul is just it's in movement, it's in vibration, it's projecting itself into this reality so it can go through the experience, so it can understand itself, so it can grow from the experience, so it can move up and keep going up in its vibration. And it's all based on understanding. You know, you sit there and think like, well, I would never do that. But then you'll find yourself in the situation because you judged it. So you're going to find out. Then you go into the situation and you find out you wouldn't do what you thought you would do. Things are different than you thought when you're in this situation. So that's why we go through so many situations. It changes our perspective. It takes judgment away from us. When we go through experiences, we understand, we know what it feels like. So we're not going to judge somebody else because, people do crazy things. And another thing too, like you got all of these Hollywood people now, they all have a platform and they are arguing now, calling each other out and stuff. Like that's all going to be blowing up. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be like, yeah, well, I saw you eating a blah, and I saw you doing, who knows? I mean, they're definitely, I'm not on Twitter anymore, but I see some of the, some certain tweets. There's different people. I think the one guy, I think his name is Josiah, his channel is Josiah Rising. He used to be on a long time ago, and then when they did the big sweep, they took down all these different channels, and he had gone from, I think he started out doing like video game stuff, and then he started talking about some weird stuff, and then he started, focusing on like Hollywood bullshit and stuff, and so he was showing a lot of stuff, a lot of their bickering and stuff. So now he's back, and I kept seeing him popping up all the time, and he kept talking about the Lord of the Rings, which I'm not into any of those kinds of movies, like the these long series, I guess, movies. But anyways, so he's been showing all of these arguments now again. I don't think he'll get taken down again. I think he knows, like, you got to be so careful over what you say, or you will just get taken down. Like, but you can go in and see, and he shows like different tweets and different fights that go on Twitter. He has a lot of like, it's crazy, some of the fights. Like there was one, I think this was before, but it was like Seth Rogen and some guy, I think he was an author or a speaker or something. I don't know, maybe he was a professor. I don't know. But it was somebody who was super smart, and Seth Rogen started trying to fight with him. Like they were arguing, and that guy was just, putting him in his place. Because a lot of these people, their ego is like out of control. Like, and, some people have to have their ego checked. Because you can't just think you rule the world because, you have people worshiping you. That I don't even like the whole idea of followers, like the whole thing with followers. Like why do the words they use and stuff, just like the same thing with, training people to start taking a beat. Take a beat. Like everything they do is just so much about control. Get the words and the language directed in a certain way. Use their spokespeople. This one girl, I think her name is Annalyn McCord. She was in some movies when she was young, and I think she's trying to be in movies like, as an adult now or something. I don't know. She's trying to get taken serious, I think, and she's real pretty, and so, they always are going to take their pretty ones, just use them as sex symbols or whatever. So, I don't know, she's probably, oh yeah, you can have this part if you go on and say this little bit, they give her the script. And she goes on to Twitter and does this like a one of those said poems, or what are those things called? I just watched So I Married an Axe Murderer, and I'd forgot that that he kept doing that all through, going and doing those poems with the music. She doesn't have music going, but it's called something. It was so popular, the spoken word or something, and they'll have groups of people and they'll get together and do these like poetic things that are about social injustice, or you know, how they feel about things or whatever. And she's doing one about both Putin and Biden or something. I don't know. Oh, if she could be their mom. If she could be their mom, things would be so much different. She would love them. We wouldn't have these problems. It's like, what the fuck? Oh my God. That is so, they just use celebrities to get you to think about something different. Like, to not get you to focus on the truth. To keep you lost in your own mind. And, you know, but it's up to each person. It's up to each person, you know, to have their spidey senses or whatever to pull themselves free from the bullshit. Like, you got to call some people out, you know, just like yesterday when I said that to my sister, like, or my mom. I didn't start arguing with my sister. I just said to my mom, like, I don't understand. She says she's a Christian and she believes you have a soul, but you have to go in and whisper in someone's ear. Like, what? What is your understanding of a soul? Like, there's just limitation upon limitation upon limitation. Consciousness very focused on its own experience, whatever that is. If it's bringing in, you know, every country in the world into their experience, but it's all in how whatever they're seeing, that's their experience. Like, that person isn't having the same experience as me. None of us are having the same experience. We choose our experience. We choose what we focus on. We choose how we look at it. You know, that's all we choose every day. What we're going to do, how we're going to look at things. Are we going to close it in? Or are we going to open it up? Are we going to be narrow-minded and small and limited? Or are we going to open it up and become bigger and become more of who and what we are? You know, that's up to us. You know, that's not up to anyone else. You've got all the ingredients before you to make these choices, to open your mind, to open up to other experiences, to understand everybody's not having the same reality. You're stuck in your reality, but everybody's not in your reality. So how can that be? How can your reality be real if you're the only one there? You know? So it's just a lot of stuff that people need to open their mind up on. And, you know, I want to say another thing too, but kind of a short thing as kind of on its own. But anyways, today I wanted to go through and really explain like what a soul is and where it comes from and how it gets here. And, but you know, I don't know, I think I say it in a lot of different ones. You know, I might still get motivated to say it today. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, I've said it so many times. I don't know that it would help today for me to say it. It's just, you know, to just keep trying to get people to expand their thinking, expand their perspective, to want more for themselves, to learn to love themselves. And, but that's the other thing I want to talk about. So I'll be right back.